Hope you're well. This video, I actually didn't plan to do it, but there's been tons of conversations that we've had over the last couple of days. Started with the Mind the Game podcast when I mentioned about individual trainers and the oversaturation of it in the industry. Then that carried on into the Gills Arena episode, but you guys left a ton of comments. We've had a lot of back and forths, and I wanted to describe kind of a little bit more of what I'm talking about and why I have issues with the individual training, skills training industry. Yes, I think there's a place for skills training, but I think it should work in conjunction with the organizational structure, the team concepts. They should match. They should be leading to the same place. The issue I have with the industry of skills trainers or individual trainers, I also do individual training, but I also coach multiple different teams. I assistant coach, head coach. I do travel ball. I do individuals, do group sessions. I run camps. I've coached, played. I've been around basketball at like a ton of different levels and aspects. Not saying I'm the best at it, but every time I add a new aspect, even this, having these conversations with you guys, every time I add another aspect, it actually helps in my coaching because I can take what a head coach sees into an individual session and be like, oh, that's great that you can do this move, but here's how it works. Here's why it works. So I think that's what I'm kind of advocating for in the industry is people to coach in multiple different areas, learn multiple different things, because the more we can do things all heading towards the same direction, the better. At the moment, what we see is individual trainers doing a lot of their stuff. They do whatever they want to do. Coaches do whatever they want to do. And then they clash, right? But then those kids go on to a college that's somewhere else, and then that college does whatever they want to do. There's no really top-down flow through of information or team concepts or anything like that, whereas I think the European club style does it a lot better. So anyways, this is a clinic from Tuomas Iiosola, terrible pronunciation, but he is now the head coach of the Grizzlies. He is the one that got the job after Taylor Jenkins was fired midway through the year. He was the assistant coach all the way up until that time, but he previously coached Paris or Olympiacos in Paris in the Euro League. He's coached in Finland. He's coached all over, but this is a coaching clinic he's giving, and it shows how they structure their a lot of European clubs, especially the better ones. This is how they structure their trainings. This is how I structure my coaching session. So this would be a team practice. Usually people think of team practice as get your 10 guys, the 5 best players go down here, work on plays, 5 players that are not as good go down here, and we're going to do a lot of 5-on-0 stuff, whatever. This is a really good insight into how Europeans kind of develop their players and kind of more the structure I wish we would adopt over here. We're not going to watch the whole thing. It's a hour and 40 minutes, but it's kind of like I watched it.
Good morning to everybody.
So I'm going to skip ahead just to the parts that I want to address. But basically, these kids would be kids from, I guess he's in Serbia when he's giving this. So this would be like Serbian national team kids or Serbian state team kids. So good players that he doesn't typically coach. So even being able to get his message across and all of his ideas across, it can be done at your level or with your teams or whatever when you have more time as well. So right now, first thing they're doing.
Okay, and then you were yesterday with Coach Bozic, right? You were working on the same foot, same hand finish right here, okay? So you're gonna come off, okay, and finish right here with what we call a goofy layup right here, okay? Here we go.
So you can do this by getting your guards on one end, posts on the other, or you can have every player work on the same skill. There's tons of different ways to do these things.
Yes, you can fake to the other side and then use the ball screen. Good. Nice. Here we go.
Yeah, just working off of a ball screen, teaching the type of concepts you want them thinking about. You can start drilling certain things in.
Good. And right here we see that the guys are going through this with they know what to do right here. But what we can do here is we can simulate different type of defenses right here, okay? So if we can have coach right here, okay? And now we can have levels of show right here, okay? So if coach goes like this, you can split or you can look for the dribble around for the same thing. And every time you have the possibility of looking to reject and doing the same thing with your left hand, okay? Here we go.
So this style of coaching I really like because he's very pedantic and very like specific with what he wants, but also look how many options he gave. He's like, hey, if the coach steps out, you can do this or that. You can split it. You can go over the top, or you can reject and go to your left hand, and same thing. You could spend 2 hours. One thing we do really bad as coaches, I'm doing it right now in this video, is we over talk, we over describe, we show, we give 30, 40, 50 examples. We yell at them and tell them not to do this. We stop the drill 30 times, but explain it well enough to where they understand what to do, and then you can correct it as they're going, like coaching on the run. So you want to be coaching as the session is going.
Good, and same finish. Good, that's not bad at all. Here we go. Yep. And this brings a lot of variability, which is actually very important in skill work. We've tried to, as the season goes along, we try to add a little bit of complexity to the drills, that we are not doing block practice, which would mean 3 times something, 3 times something else, then 3 times something else, but either go 1, 1, 1, repeat 1, 1, 1, or do it like this, that it's a little bit more randomized, that the players have to adjust to the different circumstances.
So see, he's talking about, again, imagine you put cones out on the court and you tell a kid to practice a move 30 times in a row. What he's saying is, well, let's practice the move. Let's understand how it works going to the right. Let's understand how it works going to the left. Let's understand how it works if the player plays too high or plays too low. Now we're going to randomize that process. So now you're going to go do that thing, but you have to react, or you have to choose a different one every single time just to keep it more variable. You can do block training. I do think it's very important to train like this more so, but you know.
Now we can do the same thing with a drop back big right here, and you can attack with different changes of pace. So you can come off, you can snake it, you can use the stop and go, okay, but still same finish, okay?
So same thing, just change it up a little bit. So now he's saying if the big is in drop
very
coverage.
Nice.
So they did a hard show first. Now they're doing drop coverage. You can just
very nice. One more. Finish that.
I want to skip ahead because this is how it grows. So you've seen how it grows with one player. You just add some more variables. You change some things up.
Now, but I will be that show defender here. Okay. Here we go.
So now you got 2 decisions to make. Now they're going into a floater. Nice. We'll keep just skipping through.
Please use it a little bit more downhill, okay? Instead of going there. No, from here.
Now they're working on side pick and roll.
Yep.
This looks like a drag screen out of the offense. So again, think about what I said at the beginning of this. Coaches and trainers working together is going to get you your ideal situation. This is a head coach of a team, and this is what he does with his team. I cannot see a scenario where a skills trainer needs to come in and take a kid off to the side into their own stadium, away from the team, to work on their own specific drills that would be more beneficial than this. This to me is far more important. Individual skill stuff, like you do need to work on, but that's more stuff on that's more reps of shooting. That's more reps of whatever your go-to move is. That's just reps of a thing you can do over and over. But to have a trainer be like, oh no, now you need like these 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 moves, like you get all of that right here.
Yep, like in this type of angle right here. You're my defender, you help in a little bit, okay? And I'm gonna look to get a running catch right here, boom, okay? And attack.
So now he's incorporating the second player. We'll advance a little bit more. This is the part I wanted to talk about.
Help, or even put the ball above your head. Okay, here we go. Not nice. Here we go. Next one. Good.
So this is something you would see, right? You see people sit on these cones and do these moves and then work on their overhand pickup and all that. Like I said, it's all fine, but this is a better way to show how and why you would use it in the specific scenario. Plus you're getting that in the flow of your offense. So this looks like to be working out their transition offense. So the big comes down, sets the drag screen while the point guard's dribbling. Off the drag screen, they can get all the way to the basket with all those different options that they worked on before. This is how you utilize your teammates though, and play out of space, to play with pace, to catch on the run, one dribble, get to the basket. The thing you'll see with a lot of this is very effective team basketball, very effective team training and team concepts. You're not going to see 3, 4, 5 dribbles, dribble move back and forth. The defense here at this level is too good, and by the time you take your second dribble, help defense, you got a captain here, you got a nail here, you got someone taking up those spots. So learning why it works, how it works, the pace and speed at which it works is far more effective, in my opinion, than training on your own without that context. Yes, some trainers are very good at giving you that context and giving you the why, but I would say those trainers, you probably get one of those for every 500 nonsense trainers out there. Maybe I'm being I'm not being generous. 1 in every 200. We'll go with that.
And one more.
Because I personally know a lot of good individual skills trainers. So this is not everyone. This is more
great. Okay, let's have a couple of shooters here in the corner. Let's have 3 shooters in the corner. You must be the best shooter in the team. You sprinted right away here, okay? Okay, it's the confidence. Good. Love it. Here we go. Okay, and now you're going to make the choice. So we're going to do the same thing, okay? Same exact thing right here. But you're going to be attacking really
teaching point here we'll get to real quick.
Yeah, you can drop.
So back into their middle pick and roll.
Good. Okay, so what seems to be the bottleneck right here?
So they've made this mistake a couple times. This pass isn't very good.
And this is where you,
and this is something I learned listening to this video. I did not know the footwork and the details of this until watching this, and then I was like, oh, that's something I can add. This was maybe 4 or 5 months ago when I saw it.
Just will need to again make their money, okay, or earn their salaries right here, is to see what is the problem right here. The thing that we teach when we get to that elbow is the passing technique. First of all, you do not want to telegraph your intentions at all. So ideally, that is eyes and shoulders are towards the rim, okay, just like you would be coming off for your own, the close range finish right there with the goofy finish. So you're gonna get, okay, exactly the same look right here, okay, and now the passing technique, there's 2 technical components that we use right here, okay. One is same side foot in contact on the ground, okay. So
these are 2 coaching points I never learned. So one thing we do in America a lot is we put players in situations, and we're good at putting a piece there and going, hey, it works, good job. I don't know why it works, but this kid is really good at this thing, put him in that position. This style of teaching is giving everyone the tools to be successful. Not everyone will, but at least you're giving them all the tools, teaching them all how to do it. And then you're building up your whole team to hopefully be able to do that skill. I think that's something that we lack. And when I speak about development in America, that's what we're not good at. We're just good at identifying like, oh, this kid is really good at making that pass across court, so we'll just put him there.
So if I'm a right,
which is why the Spurs always put Ginobili on the left side of the basket. They'd run him down off the wing, and then he'd come and make that left-handed hook pass across the baseline for that corner 3. They did that so many times, and it's like, yeah, Ginobili can do that because like he grew up playing in Argentina, knows fundamentally how to do these style of things. And it's like Americans, a lot of our guys, like, they have the skill to do it. They've just never learned how to fundamentally.
Right-handed passer right here for the skip pass. I need to have my right foot on the floor in order to create a base, a stable base for the pass to the opposite side. Give me the ball. Here we go. Okay, second thing, if I keep my elbow locked, I will have much better control. So these are the 2 technical details that we teach right here. When I get to that area, okay, bum, okay, and now I can whip it to the other side. This pass, it will be accurate and hard, okay? Let's try to get this one. Here we go.
And watch how quickly these kids pick it up. If you're a good teacher, good coach, like, your players
and this pass is already a lot different than the previous one, okay? Very good. Here we go.
And I tried this myself, and I was always pretty good at passing, but again, it was just
very nice.
Like just
good.
Hopefully, make
and
it
one more.
I tried this myself, and it 100% works.
Excellent. Okay, that's very good job, fellas. Now we can do the same thing, but we can add a component of working on the footwork right here. So you will execute a finish right here at the rim. Okay, here we go.
This is another really good teaching point that I think every trainer, coach needs to understand.
Good. Next one. Here we go.
I think it might be 1 or 2 of these coming up.
And the further you get into the season and the players get more comfortable, I think it's in both ends. You're coming off, okay? And by the way, with how the game is nowadays, you don't have to have guards doing this, okay, bigs doing something else. when we start in the beginning of season, we have everybody do all of these. And we try to see if somebody can give us something more than we maybe thought in the recruiting phase, or maybe they've been working on their game during the summer, and maybe we have a big man who can make these plays. There's great examples in Europe or in NBA from bigs really being great playmakers. We'll talk about that a little later. But you shouldn't pigeonhole players into certain roles, and everybody can at least give it a try, and then coach has to use his eye to see if there's possibilities for him to further develop. Okay, what you're gonna.
So this is huge. I had a conversation with one of you, I think it was yesterday, where you were pointing out correctly. You were correctly pointing out something that I said, and I must not have explained myself well enough in the video. But this is exactly what I mean. Of like, individual trainers oftentimes will take a big man, right? They'll take a big man and be like, hey, you got to work on your handles, you got to work on your shooting, because at the next level, blah blah blah, all this stuff, right? But if done properly, the coach is already doing that. The coach is giving them those opportunities, and if they're not good at it, you don't need to spend majority of your time working on that. If you're just not good at that thing, you need to spend majority of your time with what's going to keep you on the court. So typically what I see is like a individual, let's say a big man that's not good at finishing layups, not good at shooting, not good at dribbling. They have no other skill other than their size. Let's say that's it. All they have, no other skill but their size. And individual coaches will oftentimes take that kid and be like, no, you need to work on all these things. Your coach isn't playing you because whatever, you need to be working to be able to shoot. You need to be able to work on doing this. But instead, like, that player needs to work on layups. If they can just get rebounds and they can make layups, if they can just get rebounds, one dribble, power dribble, and score, if they can post up effectively and just make a little baby hook, if they can just do those things, they'll average 15 to 20 points. Once you start adding all this other stuff first, before they are making layups, before they know how to post up, before they're able to get their rebound and go back up without bringing it down, things like that, it's like, it's so much information for a player. And then they're also not seeing success, because why would their coach put them out there if it's like, dude, I need you to make layups. I don't need you out there doing crossover step back threes. The reason I bring it up is because I see it so often. I see it so often. You'd be surprised. For those of you out there, those trainers out there that aren't doing this, or those coaches out there that aren't doing this, you're probably looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, no, people don't do that. I'm telling you, that's why I made this channel, is because I didn't think I knew very much about basketball until you start traveling, you start getting involved with more things. It's like that Barack Obama thing. Like, once you get a seat at the table, you realize they ain't all that. And that's kind of what happened to me. Is like, I think of the game very simply. It's a very simple, fundamental, concept-based. I don't really think I know anything special, but so many people overcomplicate it and overthink that I was like, oh, because I keep it simple, I actually do know more than these guys, because it's as simple as you want to make it, or it's as complicated as you want to make it. And what we've done in America is we've overcomplicated the game. There's one more coaching point I wanted to bring up, and then we'll end it there. But I highly advise you to
time thinking this. But again, we're looking for a 60% finish. Okay, so
that right there, we're looking for a 60% finish. So he's not saying this is how you have to finish, or this is the only way it's going to work, but a shot that you make 60% of the time. So I think his motto is he wants you to make 40% threes and 60% twos. So instead of telling a player, that's a bad shot, or that's a good shot, or that's a bad shot, don't do that. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you put a detail what it is. So if a player dribbles up, does a sidestep and shoots a three, and you go, hey, you can't make that 40% of the time, bad shot. And they'll go, oh, you're right, I can't make 4 out of 10 of those. It makes a lot more sense. And then we'll get into something right here.
Is this a 60% shot? Is that a 60% shot? For very, very few players. You'll have to find a way to get closer to the rim, okay? Here we go.
So I think that's super important. Like, most coaches will just say, don't fade away, don't do that. But, if you might have a player that can make that 6 out of 10 times. That's a good shot for him, but it's not a good shot for you. So being able to explain 60% twos is what we're looking for, 40% threes. Everyone can have their own number depending on the league or level you're playing in, but being able to, like, what do you mean by that? And this is something I came across with one of the coaches I'm working with, is we kept telling our guys, like, guys, you got to play with effort. Like, there's no effort. You got to play with effort. And I think it was maybe 3 practices in, and we were like, wait, do we need to tell them exactly what we mean by effort? And maybe this is a coaching problem and not a player problem. So we detailed some things that we would consider effort. And one of the things was sprinting. So every time in transition, sprinting full speed to your spot. So if you're a wing, sprinting to the corner or sprinting to the wing, whatever it was, the post player sprinting the middle of the lane, rim running. We're like, okay, that's an effort piece that we've identified. As soon as we score, we pick up full court man. And it's like, okay, we've identified as soon as we score, we're full court man. You know, if you guys are running back to half court, or if you haven't figured out who you're guarding, that you're not giving effort. Our pick and roll coverages. So we hedge, we do a hard show for our bigs, but with our guards, we switch. So we talk those out. If you're not calling those out, that's effort. If we don't have what we call our help side defender here, we call that a captain. If we don't have someone in the captain spot, so low help when the ball's opposite, if we don't have someone there, that's effort. So we just detailed what we meant by effort, hustling off the court, those basic things. We just detailed it so that way after practices or during practices or after games, we would often ask our players now, like, hey, how do you think our effort was? So instead of us saying effort was bad and it was this, because the kids are like, what do you mean? I was running hard. I think I was running hard. But because we detailed exactly what it was we wanted, then we could ask like, hey, how do we think our effort was? And then the kids would think like, oh, actually our post, the rim running was really good. Like getting to the basket was really good in transition. We didn't have low side help. We weren't capped. Okay, so effort, where do we think it was? Yeah, it was about a B+. We can do better. Those conversations are so important, and being able to detail what you mean by things. So I hope this all makes sense with how I've been speaking about the training industry and skills training. I think skills training is extremely important. This session, please go watch it. It builds all the way up into a full team practice. The whole thing was a team practice, but it went from individual skills to coach involved in individual skill making, and then 2-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-2, 3-on-3. It just builds up, and then it gets into 5-on-5. They go 5-on-5 transition and builds up off of all those concepts. So then once you watch these kids that most of them don't even speak English, I think they all speak Serbian. So he's communicating to them through a different language. Obviously they have some translators and coaches there, but being able to explain these pretty high level concepts to these guys, and then watching them execute it in just such a short time. In an hour, they had an hour 30 practice, except most of the time he's talking to the coaches, because this is a coaches clinic. It's super impressive to watch. And this is how I try to model all of my practices. I've been doing this probably for the last 6 to 7 years, ever since like learning of this style of coaching, and it's just dramatically changed. Like the players that play for me, they're like, dude, it's going to be hard to play for another coach because we just do this or we just do that. And it's not that I'm some prodigy in the coaching industry, but it's just like we always make kids do the things that we didn't want to do. And I'm like, why are we doing that? I wanted to play. I wanted to work on my skills. I wanted to do all this stuff. Like as coaches, we should give them some of that stuff. It keeps them engaged, but also have a purpose. Like go into that practice. Like we need to work on our pick and roll stuff. So we need to work on our pick and roll spread offense. Okay. So we're going to build it up from here to here to here. We're going to identify all the skills we want to improve on. So that way we get into our 5-on-5, we can point it out exactly. Like your hook pass was terrible because you jumped off the wrong foot, or your hook pass keeps going out of bounds. Like you need to go work on that skill. That to me is how it all should work. I wish we could kind of get the American basketball culture to get more to this style where that skills training is more a part of your actual coaching session. So individual skills trainers on board working with high schools or with colleges or in conjunction. I saw a trainer post the other day, like you can be bigger than the player. And they were proud of that. And I'm like, that's exactly the issue. That's exactly the thing I'm addressing. Like once you start thinking that you're special and you are the person that's making these players and you're doing your own thing, and then meanwhile they have to still contend with coaches, their high school coach, their college coach, and they're being pulled in so many directions. That's what I think the issue is. So anyways, go watch this video. Linked it down in the description. Sorry this was a long one. I wanted to voice this because there's so many comments that I think we were talking past each other. I wasn't really getting my views across as important. Again, I don't think skills training or individual skills trainers themselves are bad. I do that stuff too. I do individual skills training. I coach kids, but I just coach so many different aspects that I don't need to do it full time. I don't really even do it for money. Most of the kids I do individual sessions with, it's because I've identified like, dude, you can't do this. We got to get in the gym. I got to teach you some stuff. But once you start putting that price tag to it and you do need it to be long term, that's when it gets really muddy for a lot of people. There are some people and some trainers that do a very good job, and they do still put the kids first, but I've just seen it so often. Once you get money involved, it becomes your business. You do have to kind of keep customers and money flowing in too. So it's a tough one. That's why I'm hoping to change the industry as a whole, not to take away the skills training, but actually, like, it should be a viable profession. It should be something that people can do full time, but they should be able to put the focus of the kid first without taking a hit to their income. So, I mean, that's in an ideal world anyways. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please go watch it. If you are a coach of any level, if you are a trainer of any level, I promise you, this is going to make you better. You're at least going to get 1 to 2 things from this that's going to change the way you look at skill development or change the way you look at your practices. And I'm going to do a lot more of these because I've realized how many people they're not like me. They don't enjoy just sitting around watching this stuff for hours at a time. So I'll try to filter it down. So for those of you that don't want to watch an hour and 40, you just got my 28-minute quick breakdown of it. But for those of you that want to dive in more, video's there for you. So anyways, take care, guys. Love you all, and yeah.